encourage and empower kids as they come to middle school. We want to be that bridge that holds a student from that real direct support that they get in the elementary level and be that bridge towards independence that we want them to get to when they go to high school. So you'll see and you'll hear about student ownership quite a lot from me. We really look to empower our kids and make sure they are prepared to be leaders of their own learning, both because they are ready for that, they are yearning for that, and the results are so much better when they take those things on. So you'll see our student council do the majority of the heavy lifting tonight. It both prevents me from speaking too much or too fast and then having to repeat myself and then people telling me, can you get off stage so we can see the teachers that we're more excited for? But the students will be running the show. So they'll be coming down in just a second. I just wanted to say hello. Thank you all for coming tonight. This is not the only opportunity you'll have to come into the middle school. Your children will be coming tomorrow, and unlike last year where I'm finishing up my first year here at Portland Middle School, I'll be here all summer. So at any time, if you have questions and want a tour, you want to meet about anything specific, my favorite thing about Portland is we are a small community. I do love the fact that I truly can, over the summer, reach out to every parent and take time to have an individual conversation. With having 100 families at each grade level, that's something unique to this town. That is something that I truly value about being here in Portland. So do not hesitate, whether you think it's a small concern, a large concern, at any time to request a time to meet, to chat, just to get to know me. I take the responsibility of the trust that parents give in sending their child to school each day, and that idea that my responsibility is primarily ensuring that your child is safe and then ensuring that they learn in a positive environment. So never hesitate to reach out. I look forward to getting to know all of you very well, and our student council will be getting things started in just a minute. But thank you all for coming tonight. that goes. Mr. Hall. All right. Do I do slide 1 or do I just do now before I even turn the slide on? Like,
Are you speaking first too, right? Are you doing a little speak or are you just starting?
okay, so I'll
just
keep it
stay on
here.
that one.
Stay on this. All right, great. Yeah. Yes. All right, Dylan, is this still on? We are still on. Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in this evening. I cannot tell you how excited I have been to have you guys come up here, because I get to start talking about the planning and excitement and energy for next year. And looking forward and looking ahead, your children, all the children have done an incredible job managing through what has been a traumatic experience, what they've gone through with their educational lives over this past year and a half. I cannot tell you how excited I am to start planning for a return or an improvement towards normalcy, and providing your children, as they're coming up, a true middle school experience. So tonight you're going to hear a little bit about our middle school program, what makes us tick. We have an incredible group of students from our student council that will be running the show. I purposely do not have a slide, so I just introduce and then they tell me to get off so that they can run it from here. We will be having student council present. They will also be providing a couple of tours, if you would like, after the presentation, for anyone that would like to walk around the facility if you haven't had the opportunity to do so previously. I know for some of you this is not your first child coming up to the middle school. For some of you it is. My first thing for all of you, especially those that's coming here for the first time, we are not the big scary place. Every educator here loves kids, loves working with kids, loves being silly, wants your child to come up and have the absolute best experience that they can have. We care deeply about the children coming up to us, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to stand here in front of your children tomorrow as they sit in anticipation for what next year is going to come and bring. This is going to be a really wonderful experience for your kids. That's my guarantee to you. And my request to you is, if you find that it is not, there's something that is not working for you, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. Don't ever hesitate to email or contact me. I was saying to the parents before we got started, one of my favorite things about coming down here, this is ending my first year, but one of my favorite things about being here in Portland is the small size of our town. With 100 families at every grade level, I truly can reach out and speak with each of you. So there is no issue too small. Never hesitate. I look forward to speaking with all of you over the course of the summer into next year. I'll be having weekly coffee houses or weekly coffees open for any parent over the summer. And if any time your child is nervous and wants to see this building again, wants to go look at where their locker might be again, never hesitate to ask to come on in, because we'd love to open the building up and get kids excited about coming here to Portland Middle School. As I said, students are going to run the show, and I already feel myself going long. So I'm going to turn it over to the president of our student council, Jerry Hall.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jerry Hall, and I am student council president of Portland Middle School. I am here to say a quick blurb about student council and other after-school activities. Student council is made by the students. Together as a council, we come up with ideas that change the way we spend our day at school. Some ideas that the student council comes up with benefits the school in many ways. We had a walkathon earlier this month that raised over $1,000. With your sons or daughters moving up to the middle school, we would love more students joining the student council. The more people, the better. But there are lots of other clubs to join, so many that cover so many different things, from sports to robotics to GSA to sewing clubs. We encourage all incoming 7th graders to join any club that fits their interests. After-school clubs provide an extra layer of fun and learning to students of all ages. Thank you, everyone, and have a good slide.
Ooh, oh, thanks. Hi, I'm Jamie DeRose. I'm the 7th and 8th grade school counselor here, and I'm also one of the co-advisors for the student council. So we have a brief presentation that the students have put together and are going to be presenting to all of you, just kind of breaking down what what experiences your child is going to have here at the middle school. So at this point, I'm going to have all of the student council members come stand up here kind of in order of how you're presenting your slides. Mr. Jerry, you're up first again. All right, so we'll start, and then the clicker is right here.
Ms. Rose, I forgot one thing.
What?
Real quick, I just wanted to take a chance if the teachers can stand up. I have the students thrown in the show, not teachers, but I did want you guys to get a chance to see some of the amazing faces that you'll get a chance to see next year that'll be working with your children. Your kids, the students will be talking a bit more about their programs, but they will be here. We have Miss Oliveira coming up to us from Valley View, our 7th grade math teacher. We have Miss Baldwin coming up to us from Brownstone, who will be our science teacher. Miss Maycomer and Miss Hunter, 2 of our special education teachers. Mr. Raines, who is our social studies teacher, and Miss Ketterer, who is our fantastic band director. One of the only bands in the state that ran the number of virtual programs we did throughout the pandemic, especially at the middle school level. So these are some of the teachers that you're going to have, but I want to get a chance for you to see them in person before you see their photos and their pictures and slides that are about to come up. Thanks for coming up.
All right, Jerry, you want to come on up? So this is the first line. And then, so talking to the microphone so they can.
Once a week, we have an advisory where at the beginning of the year, a class is assigned to one teacher where every advisory, there's a topic, a social or emotional topic that students have an opportunity to speak to teachers and to connect with them and also connect with other students. And sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's really boring, but overall it's fun. Yeah. Thank you.
These are our academic classes. All of which are the science with Miss Baldwin. Language arts with Miss Crook isn't here, and Miss Kim's not here either. Math with Miss Oliveira, and then social studies with Mr. Raines. All of which are also here.
In 7th grade language arts classes, students will focus on listening, reading, writing, and observation skills. Students will work on collaborative discussions through book clubs, participate in creating projects in response to literature, create evidence-based analysis of text, practice grammar and vocabulary instruction, and the Writers' Workshop units of study focuses on writing realistic fiction, the art of the argument including research skills, writing about reading, and poetry.
Hello, my name is Amelia Dietrichson. I'm from 8th grade. In 7th grade math class, your children will engage in real-world problem solving through either the pre-algebra or illustrative math curricula. The curriculum will include ratios and proportions, the number system, expressions and equations, geometry, and statistics and probability. You remember in 7th grade math class, the teachers were all very understanding whenever I didn't understand the problem. I just asked for help, and then they helped me really understand what what the problem was asking. They were all really Mr. Jensen was really supportive, and I think that I am confident that Miss Oliveira will also help your students as much as Mr. Jensen did.
Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm an 8th grader and the secretary of our student council. So in science, we are part of the Next Generation Science Standards, and some topics that we'll go over in 7th grade are inquiry investigations, cells, genetics and evolution, and then nutrient body systems. And some activities we'll perform perform experiments, create group projects, draw diagrams, test create models, and teach lessons. 7th grade science was truly one of my favorite classes. It was a very hands-on class, and it was a great way to work well with others and become a great team player.
I'm Emily from the 8th grade, and in 7th grade social studies class, students will explore the world through the lenses of geography and culture. the students will do project-based inquiry, where they ask questions and they will create hands-on projects to answer them. They use evidence to support positions and create argumentative and expository writing. There will also be regular use of Chromebooks and other technology to virtually explore the world. And in this class, you will also learn about current and past events.
Our Our world, our world language teachers are Miss Yunker and Miss Beck. Miss Yunker is our French teacher, and she will be teaching your children French for half the year. And Miss Beck is our Spanish teacher, and she'll be teaching your children for the other half of the year. Family and Consumer Science, also known as FACS, will be taught by Miss Lucas, teaching your students about nutrition and measuring. Music will be taught by Miss Ketter and Miss Tucker. Miss Ketter, who is here with us today, is the concert band teacher, and Mr. Tucker is the choral teacher. Physical education and health is taught by Mr. Bankston, in which students will be learning about physical and emotional health, and they will also be learning about physical activities. Computer science and technology engineering will be taught by Mr. Toussaint, who is not here, but he will teach your students several activities with technology. And visual art, your children will learn creative and how to draw realistic and creative pieces of art. In the 7th grade Computer Science and Communication class, your children will learn to make videos, design graphics, work with robots, program computers, and work on the school yearbook. In the 7th grade Technology and Engineering class, your children will work with their hands, 3D print, and become engineers.
Family and Consumer Science is another hands-on class. In this class, students will learn about kitchen safety and the many topics involved in it, nutrients and food labels, as well as measuring. And of course, we learned to cook delicious and healthy foods. We made cookies, smoothies, and more.
In physical education, which is gym and health, in 7th grade, we'll participate in many activities, just some including badminton, tennis, fitness testing, volleyball, and many more. And we will have gym for 3/4 of the year, and then the other fourth is dedicated for health. In each class, we will be graded for our effort, sportsmanship, and changing our clothes. And our teacher will be the incredible Mr. Bankston, Gym was truly one of my favorite classes. Mr. Bankston's such a great teacher. I know I can always go to him if I need anything. And he's also super flexible, but he's just overall a great teacher.
In seventh grade art class, your children will get to be creative and will work with a variety of different media. And when I say a variety, I mean a ton of different things. We worked with clay as well as colored pencils and micas and paint and all that cool stuff. And work on skill development and visual literacy. This year, you will focus on the practice of creating, presenting, responding, and connecting dialogue.
In 7th grade chorus class, you will focus on sight singing and creating 3-part harmonies. The events in chorus are the fall concert, the winter concert, and the annual choral extravaganza. Music in the parks, and you get to visit Six Flags in New England. There is opportunity to audition for the Southern Region Music Festival. The chorus teacher is Mr. Tucker, and he's a really nice teacher. Seventh grade band is a performance-based class in which students get to focus on proper instrumental technique, ensemble work, and sight reading. Students will participate in a fall concert, a winter concert, Memorial Day parade, and the annual band extravaganza. They'll also get the opportunity to audition for the Southern Region Music Festival and get to go to the Music in the Parks education and visit Six Flags New England. Jazz band is an after-school club which gets to perform at the winter concert and annual jazz night.
Spanish is taught by Miss Beck, and in exploratory Spanish class, your children will learn basic communication and greetings. This is the start of your path to proficiency. To their path to proficiency. In French class, taught by Miss Younkers, students will learn some basic communication skills, which include asking and saying names, places, numbers, dates, and many more things. They will also practice ordering properly at a cafe and learn about France in the process.
We will now be talking about academic support services.
So for our special education teachers, we have Miss Maisie and Miss Hunter. Our special education is Miss McComber. Our school counselor is Mr. Rose. Our reading specialist is Miss McManus. And our math specialist is to be determined. And our social worker is Miss Bailey. All these people are amazing, and you always know you can go to them for any help. Even Mr. Rose, she's one of the best school counselors I've ever had. I know I can always trust her with anything.
In the Library Media Center, which Miss Millard runs that, in the PMS library, to find a new favorite series, use the library's research databases, which you also use a lot for school projects, or check out the new hands-on makerspace, which is where you can be creative and go to during study hall period to just create really whatever you want with the materials that are in there. I really like going to the makerspace in study hall. It was like really fun to use and stuff.
Middle school sports were a lot of fun. Practice every day, every week. We had games a lot. And soccer and cross country in the fall. And basketball in the winter, track, baseball, and softball in the spring. Great coaches, a great way to interact with people. There really isn't any cuts, so it's a good opportunity for everyone to play and just a lot of fun.
So I remember one of the things I was looking forward to most when I was entering middle school was all of the clubs. When I first learned about how many there were, I was really excited for all of the opportunities, and I was so excited to engage in all of them, and I'm so happy that I did. Some clubs include Ski Club, Robotics, Play, National History Day Club, Announcements, Future Problem Solvers, Jazz Band, Student Council, Art Club, Sewing Club, Give Club, GSA, and Yearbook Club. Although, if your children really want to have a club that isn't already started, and there's enough interest in that club, they can work together with the wonderful staff here to form another one that suits their interests.
So I just want to say thank you to all of our student council members that stood up here. I know that this is not an easy feat to do, especially in front of a bunch of other adults. It might be a little bit easier tomorrow when it's in front of some students. But I just wanted to thank all of you for taking the time to come tonight and present this to us.
So, yeah, you guys. So, in just a few minutes, they'll be giving some tours if anyone would like to take a walk around the building to see the facility. Thank you so much to the Student Council. To add a couple of things to some of the 7th grade specific elements of the program, some unique things that they mentioned is foreign language. Students will take both foreign languages in 7th grade as an exploration, and then have the opportunity to choose one to stay with in 8th grade. They actually have the ability to earn a high school credit by successful completion of that 8th grade foreign language requirement. A couple other unique things. Unlike, slightly different than elementary school, we shift our language from specials to unified arts. We call it unified arts because we want all of our students to experience all of those awesome opportunities throughout the school day. I'm incredibly impressed by the offerings when I came here, specifically those in our unified arts classes. The diversity of those offerings can't be overstated, and what they experience in 7th grade leads to a great foundation for some incredible explorations that they'll have in 8th grade, to the point that one of the more famous events when I came in hearing about was the sale that they would do every year, the pop sale every year, that they actually, students will design and create their own products to sell to the community. So we have quite an incredible program in all areas. But thank you guys for coming up tonight, and I cannot overstate enough how essential it is to have student voice and student involvement in all aspects of our school. We run a couple of committees here that are after-school committees, including things about school climate that help run our advisory program, equity that helps look at how do we ensure that all students are given equal access to opportunities here in Portland Middle School. And those are committees that we are always looking for student representatives with. Student Council has been a great starting place for that, as they have been the voice of students, ensuring that students have the opportunity to have themselves heard. They have made adjustments this year, including, this has been a tough year with having lunch in the classrooms. They had made a proposal and met with our cafeteria staff to identify ways that they could start selling some of the snacks out in those classroom spaces, and developed an entire system that would allow students to have some of that choice that they were excited about when they came to middle school that they never got to experience. They also, they said again, very humbly, raised over $1,000 to support an area that they were worried was going to be lost amidst the pandemic, which was the typical annual 8th grade celebration. The Student Council came together, identified their concern over it, and then developed a plan to bring the community together and raise funds so that we can throw 8th grade a celebration that we could all be proud of and that they very much deserve. None of these efforts occur without our Student Council. So as you go home tonight and your children will get some of the same pitch that Jerry gave to you this evening, make sure to reference that to them. I want every single kid involved in one of those clubs or sports, or involved in any extracurricular they can find. If what we have doesn't fit their interest, it isn't just a line. We want students to come up with what are things you want. We used to have chess club years ago. It's not there anymore. If I have 6 kids really interested in doing chess, we will find a way to make that happen. So as your child has interests that they're coming home with, we want to find ways to take advantage of those and service those. Make sure that their passions are recognized. Next year, a couple of changes that will be pretty significant changes in our schedule. Taking advantage of some of the things we've learned during this COVID year of extending our class period times, not to the 90-minute periods we have as a block schedule this year. Class periods will be 60 minutes in length next year for their academic classes, as well as a 40-minute win block each day. You'll be getting, I'll be giving quite a bit of information about how the schedule works over the summer, kind of a handbook and a manual, so that can be a hard thing to read when you aren't used to your child switching classes as often as they do in the middle school. I'll be sure to be giving both your children and you explanations and resources so that you can understand the questions you may want to be asking and follow along with some of how we're doing some of our programs up here. But the most important aspect of it is we want to make sure, and someone mentioned study hall, we have a period every single day that is a flexible block that students can, it's really adopted from the Brownstone model of that whatever a student, get what you need now in the moment. We are adopting that Brownstone win block and that win model to build off of the success that they've had at Brownstone with those periods. So with that, I want to open it up for any questions that any parents here may have. Either a question to myself, to the staff, or to our amazing students. And really thank you for coming this evening. After we take some questions, students will happily give some tours around the building for anyone who is of interest. Do I have any questions about the middle school program? Yes? Absolutely. So at the start of the year, you'll kind of get a curriculum program of studies for each subject area. Every subject area is slightly different in how they do it, but it is constant from grade level to grade level, as those departments meet with their curriculum specialists at the secondary level to make sure that they're providing a consistent program of studies from grade 7 to 12. One thing that is unique about our middle school is we are connected, part of Portland Secondary Schools, connected to our high school. So we have a lot of continuity with that. In terms of the grading system overall, we use the system of Aspen. It is a gradebook platform that parents can log on to. Every parent will get a log on to be able to see whenever you log in, and it will show you how your child is doing in their various classes. There's weighting that comes with that. We always weight things like homework as lower in the grade weighting scale, like 10%. But ultimately, we do have a traditional ABC grading system that they will get in each class. Every quarter, you'll get a report card that includes comments along with it. But what I love about middle school is that you can check in at any time. Because not only will you have the password and use them to log in, your child will as well. And we encourage that children do that. They keep track of how they're doing in classes. As in many grading systems, those tests and performance tasks weigh more heavily in each subject area. So those essays in language arts class weigh far more heavily than homework. We look at homework as an opportunity to practice. That is an opportunity to show your effort and to get better so that when you go to those larger performance tasks, you can perform at a high level. So we have a couple teachers, for example, Mr. Rains here, who has been piloting a different grading system, like a standards-based reporting system, which is, I think, a little more similar to some of the things you've seen at Brownstone and through the elementary years of that standards-based system. But beyond that, most of our grading systems are of an ABC variety. But the Aspen system is something very, very beneficial to parents. However, it can be overused. So I always tell parents, it's awesome to check in on your child's grades to see how they're doing. But do not let the gradebook become a source of conflict between you and your child. It's a great place to start for asking questions. So when you see something that there's a question about in Aspen, whether a grade is lower than you would think it should be or a missing grade, it's a great opportunity to ask the question over why and what the next step is. Because teachers will update that gradebook, and all my teachers here will say the same, no one here believes that the first thing that goes in the gradebook needs to be what stays in the gradebook. Every teacher here has that growth mindset, that a child will do the best work that they can, and if they do not succeed in the first opportunity, we always want to ensure that we're providing intervention so that they can continue to learn and succeed. The grade book grading is always a complex answer, so I hope I answered it in some way there. Well, thank you. Any other questions I can answer about the middle school? Or the extracurriculars, the academic program, transportation, anything of that nature? Okay. Well, like I said, this is just the first of hopefully will be many opportunities. If at any point you have a question, please don't ever hesitate to ask. With that, I think we're going to have some student tours. Do I have any? Who are my tour guides here? Everyone. Excellent. So thank you all for coming tonight. If you would like to stay for a tour, please stay here. If not, that's completely fine, and thank you all for coming this evening. We'll kind of group those that remain into kind of groups of 4 or 5, and then send you off with a very able-bodied student to take you around the school and show you some of the great facilities that we have. All right. Thank you all. Oh, wow, we have a lot of people want to stay for it. Wonderful. All right, Mr. Rose, I will let you help get the tours organized. And for those that aren't staying, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate your time. I'll be hanging out in the lobby if anyone has any individual questions. And most importantly, I look forward